I'm going to go over a couple example problems talking about union notation and intersection notation. Union notation and intersection notation is a fancy way of saying and or. So when we're talking about compound inequalities, we just talked about and or problems. Union and intersection and notation is just a fancy way of saying, is it an and or is it an or problem? So I like to think of it when you see this little upside down U, we'll put this out here, upside down U, like that, that's standing for and. And I think of it, it kind of resembles an A without the little, I don't know, crossover thing. And then when you see a U, that is standing for or. Okay, so this is an and problem. This is an or problem. Okay, so we're dealing with these different inequalities. So anytime you see an A, we're dealing with this one right here. We're dealing with x is greater than -3. So let's take a look at number 1. I want x is greater than -3, and I want all the values for C. X is greater than or equal to 0. Where do these values intersect? What values make both these inequalities true at the same time because it's and? Well, I'm going to go ahead and go to the back side of this paper. This is where we're going to do some of our work. So you'll see number 1. I'm going to graph the first one here on the top one. So that was A, so that I'm graphing A right here. A was x is greater than -3. So that would be, here's 3, it's open and x is greater than that. My second one was C, so I'm going to be graphing C. C was x is greater than or equal to 0. Okay, so that would be closed at 0 and here. Okay, now this third one is like, well, where do they both, like where do they intersect? Where do they both work? And that would be this area right here makes both of these times true. So that my final answer is anything that is 0, including 0 or greater. Anything that is 0 or greater is my final answer for number 1. I'm going to go back. All right, where here shows me anything 0 or greater? Let's see, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Where is 0 greater? I don't have 0 greater. Why don't I have 0 greater? Oh, there it is. I just didn't see it. Here's 0, inclusive, and greater. So that's H. So the answer to number 1 would be H, and I would write H and H. So that's some practice at and versus or. Let's go ahead and do an or problem so you know how that looks. So A or C, anything for A or C. So I'm going to go A or so. Oh, that's the 3 and the 0. Okay. I'm going to go back to number 2. All right, so here's going to be A, my first line. Again, A was x is greater than -3, and that is right here. And C was x is greater than or equal to 0, which was this. Again, this was just the exact same that I was graphing before. But now the difference is I'm looking for or. I'm looking for any, like it just has to make one of these true. So I know that 0 through 4 will make this one true and this one true, but I also know that -3 to 0 will make this one true. I just need one of them to be true. So my final answer is -3 and anything bigger than -3, because that all of these will make this true. It'll also make this true at the same time. So -3, so I'm looking for -3 and bigger. but that's not all of these. Oh, here we go. -3 and bigger. So answer number 2 is R. So R, and I think that's it for 2. So that is union and intersection, and versus or, trying to figure out, is it an and problem or problem, what it's going to make.